The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 303. I want to get something off my chest to start here. I'm feeling very strongly about it today. If you've listened to this pod and you've listened to me talk, you would know and be aware that I'm pretty involved in hockey discourse online. I'm on Twitter or X. I like engaging with people, talking hockey, seeing what other people's opinions are. I'm very plugged in that sense. But every once in a while, the discourse just goes to a place where I say to myself, I need to sign off for a little bit and just get out of this and come back later. And we officially hit that last night and then this morning after Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, in which the Florida Panthers put on a vintage Florida Panther performance and dominated the Edmonton Oilers for 60 minutes to take a 2-1 lead in the series. And just all these heroes online. Well, maybe you Leaf fans should feel pretty dumb. The Leafs took this team to 7 games, and look what they're doing to the Oilers. What an overreaction. You want to run everybody out of town. You want to fire Brendan Shanahan. Typical Leaf fan overreacting to a team that so far has looked pretty good against the defending Stanley Cup champion. Shut the fuck up, please. I'm taking a break. I'm taking the summer off. I will see you back when training camp opens in September. Or probably when the NFL season starts, you'll see me back online engaging in discourse. But right now, I need to sign off and take a little break because you miss me with that horrendously awful take. Drives me fucking nuts.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. That's all I got to say about that. You're entitled to that opinion. In some ways, you're not wrong, but I don't really need to explain again why you are wrong. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's okay, you're not wrong, cool, but what about just everything else? You can't just you can't just flush everything else. You can't just forget about it. I don't have short-term memory law. I remember everything about this team and what happened to them. So I can't forgive that. I don't care what they did. I don't.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the Florida Panthers with a vintage Florida Panther performance in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. I think through 3 games, my take on this series, and we'll discuss it a little bit towards the end of the episode, but my take on this series is the Florida Panthers are who we thought they were. They're the best hockey team in the NHL. The best hockey team. The Edmonton Oilers have the 2 best players on earth, but the Florida Panthers are the best team. And I picked the Oilers to win this series in 6 games. That is still possible, but that means they're going to win the next 3. They're going to have to win the next 3 in a row. And that was, when I say vintage Florida Panthers, that's what that was. McDavid and Draisaitl couldn't get out of the blocks. The Oilers looked like the Leafs. They were one and done offensively. They could not generate any sort of offensive cycle, offensive push. The Panthers on top of them, finishing every check, just getting away with murder out there. Sam Bennett scores again and is building. Sam Bennett right now is the front runner to win the Conn Smythe Trophy if the Panthers win the Cup. He's winning the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Unbelievable postseason for this guy. And now, if you told me that the Florida Panthers are going to win this series in 6 or 7, yep, pretty much. Would not be surprised.
Yeah, they really know how to fucking steamroll a team, don't they? Holy crap, when they get it going. It must be so fun to play on that team. You look around, it's we don't have any McDavids here. We don't have any Draisaitl's, but we just go out here and we just kick everybody's ass. We just dominate in every facet of the game. And when they get it going downhill, they can't be stopped. Yeah, they can't be stopped. They're the best team in the league. I think they're the best team since, I don't know, like maybe the Red Wings and
Yeah.
the early 2000s. Like I don't remember a team being this dominant. Like Tampa won a couple cups. That was nice and fun. They were pretty dominant, but this is a whole different level because it's every part of the game. It's physicality, it's skill, it's goaltending, it's making a first pass. Like they don't have any weaknesses. Like they're just a good goddamn hockey team. That's it.
So the first 2 games in Edmonton, you came away from it being like, the Oilers are the team. The Oilers are the team that can hang with them. They're pretty evenly matched. McDavid and Draisaitl are cooking. This is toe-to-toe here. And then game 3 happens, and you're like, oh no, the Florida Panthers, it literally looked like game 5 and 7 against the Leafs. It was just out-and-out domination for 3 periods. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so our whole episode last week was centered around Sam Bennett and the idea of the Leafs going to get him. We didn't say it was a foregone conclusion. We were like, why would he leave Florida? It's since been reported that he has no interest in coming to the Toronto Maple Leafs, which isn't a massive shock. Again, agents say things and guys say things, and you got to wait and see how everything plays out. But you just said it. Like, playing for that team is probably so fun. Why would you want to leave? The other side of that coin, Ryan, this is my thing that I'm putting. This is the basket that I'm putting all of my eggs in, if you will. I'm ready to give Brad Marchand whatever he wants. I'm ready to give him whatever he wants. He wants $8 million. You can have $8 million. You can, and if he wants it for 3 or 4 years, no problem, because the cap's going to continue to go up and up and up, and that $8 million is going to look better and better and better. And like we talked about last week, Brad Treliving sat in front of us 2 weeks ago now and said that the goal was to change the DNA of this hockey team, and there are only a certain number of guys in the league that can do that, and Brad Marchand's one of those guys. And all reports indicate that he's going to go. I'm sure there's part of him that would like to stay in Florida, but all reports are that he's going to go on July 1st and just see what his options are and talk to teams and have some meetings and whatever. And if I'm Brad Treliving, I'm sitting down and saying, whatever you want, man, whatever you want, like, sign the dotted line and come play for the Maple Leafs. He is my number 1 off-season target now that Sam Bennett looks like is not interested in becoming a member of the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun summer for the analytic people. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
Because there's a lot. It's so funny when you watch this series. It's just all these guys who all are cut from the same cloth are the most important guys driving the bus and the reason why these teams are in the Stanley Cup Final. But they're not Mitch Marner. So, yeah, when Brad Marchand decides he finally wants to cash out and get his $8 million or whatever, there's going to be a lot of arguments of why that's a bad decision. But you watch the Cup Final and you're looking at all the rats out there, all the guys who play on the edge, and they're all kind of like Corey Perry and Evander Kane and Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk. They're all the same guy. They're all cut from the same cloth. So
to your point, intangibles have never been more valuable in the NHL.
Like if you're someone, I even go far. If you're an amateur scout right now, you're not even looking for the guy who's getting 150 points a night. You're looking for the guy who's getting 70, but has that kind of pedigree of like, this guy could be one of those dudes. It's a premium in the NHL right now. And you're seeing it in the Stanley Cup Final right now. So when guys like Sam Bennett go for 10 million and Marchand goes for 8 and Corey Perry gets 4 million, like it doesn't make there'll be a lot of arguments of why it's a bad idea, but you watch the Cup Final, it's like, how do you argue with it? Like, these guys are the difference makers.
Yes. And we're going to be talking about DNA all summer, and that's a guy that when you put him in that dressing room completely changes the DNA of who the Maple Leafs are.
The guy's a flat out winner. Like, there's just there's no other way to describe him. He's a winner. Like, he wins. He's single. You watch him out there, it's like, this is what eliminates the Toronto Maple Leafs every single year in the playoffs. It's just this guy, his winning mentality. Like, there's a reason why he's always comes out on the right side of that matchup. There's a reason why.
And if the narrative right now around Matthews and Nylander specifically, we're going to take Marner out of the equation because he's gone. And I think we're going to talk about Tavares in a minute, but let's just focus on Matthews and Nylander for now. If the goal is, and the thought around these guys is they don't have that mentality like you're talking about, then you want to surround them with guys who, and don't give me this whole, well, they've tried it with Joe Thornton and Patty Marleau.
No, it's not no. It's not the same guy.
It's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. And I don't give a shit how old he is. I don't. Like, if you told me right now that we would let John Tavares walk out the door in favor of giving more money to Brad Marchand, I would sign up for that all day long because, again, the goal and the focus is to change the DNA. Like you've been saying, there is a certain number, a certain type of player in the league that does that for you, and they're all shining in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, they're all
because you need those guys. The Stanley Cup playoffs is such a grind. It's such a mental and physical grind that those are the guys that win you cups because they have that internal drive and those intangibles that we're talking about.
Even like those guys, they get you to cup finals. Like they just get you past the point where they fail every time. And it's hard to quantify, but how could you argue it? Look, you're watching it right in front of your eyes.
Yes.
All the biggest greaseballs in the league are running the show right now.
So that's anything he wants. Anything he wants. You want $8 million? Sure. You want $8 million for 5-6 years? No problem. Work your magic and get them all the endorsement deals and whatever side money these guys make through being a Toronto Maple Leaf, do it. And just, if that guy came in here, mark my words, if he came in here and you've got 2 good seasons out of him, he would go down as one of the most beloved Toronto Maple Leafs of all time. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against because it's just...
And he seemingly, from what all the reporting says, he's a lot more willing to listen to you than Sam Bennett is. So
I'm thinking if you're a guy like that and you decide to sign with the Leafs in the offseason, you have a massive ego. Like, this is not a good time to be signing with this team right now. Like, if you're a big free agent, I get why you would just go, you know what, they're not the worst team. They're a playoff team. It's not like I'm going to the desert and not going anywhere. But, like, do I really want to hop over, especially the year after Marner, where it's like you're just going to be compared the entire year. Like, every single night you have a bad night. It's going to be Mitch Marner just got 4 points in Anaheim and look at him go. So if you're a guy like Marchand, you're like, I want to sign here, even though you get a big deal. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot. You have a big ego and you're confident in yourself.
Does it surprise you that the reporting is that Sam Bennett has no interest in signing here?
Yeah, I am not surprised that anyone doesn't want to sign here because honestly, you look at it and you're like, it's a mess right now. It's a mess. Sam Bennett signs for $10 million, plays with the Leafs, gets 50 points, and then like doesn't show up in the playoffs because all of a sudden he has a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform and that just means you're useless. Apparently,
well, I think it's. You look around at his peers on the Florida Panthers, and it's like everyone is bought in and pulling in the same direction. Sam Bennett's going to come here and be the second line center and be in the defensive zone, putting his body on the line while his Swedish winger's up at the red line looking to sneak away for a breakaway.
Yeah,
so it's
Sam Bennett, the same guy in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform that he is in a Florida Panther uniform. Because he played for Calgary, and I don't remember him being this good. So, like, again, that's a whole other factor. I think Marchand's a little bit different. I think Marchand could come and he's going to like assert himself.
Yes.
Like I think he's just that. He's that established in the game and he's such a good player, man. Like he's like you watch him out there, one of the he's a fucking great hockey player.
And
like,
you just so said it.
Good,
he's a winner. He's a winner.
Yeah, he's a winner.
Inject that guy into your room. Get him around these guys. Get him around Austin. Get Mitch Marner the hell away from Austin Matthews and get a guy like Brad Marchand in there and get him around a young guy like Matt Nyes. Don't have Matt Nyes around the Marners and the Matthews and the Nylanders as they currently are. Get another veteran in there that's like, this is how you win a fucking championship in this league. This is what you do. This is how you prepare. Those are the guys you want around a young up-and-comer like Nyes, like Easton Cowan. Like it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah, I think if you throw a bag at this guy, because they were talking about, like, he's made some good money in his career, but he hasn't really cashed out for the great player that he is. So I think I don't think he's going to a bottom feeder. I think there's going to be a list of teams that are in the playoff chase that he's probably going to want to go to, because I think it's important for him to get more cups and kind of go on his Corey Perry run here to cement his legacy. But I mean, if you throw a bag at him, another team, and you outbid other teams, I think he would be willing.
Yes.
But does he have that big of an ego to come here and
he does
and really turn it around, man? Like,
I absolutely think he does.
Yeah,
and
he
like
is the guy. Yeah,
like
I
I
would
said,
see what Corey Perry's doing too. I don't care if he's 41. I'd be giving him a ring-a-ding-ding too.
Mark my words. You get 2 good years out of this guy, he will go down as one of the most beloved Toronto Maple Leafs of all time. Mark,
what if they were like
words.
$10 million for 2 seasons?
Fine, sign. Where do I sign? Honestly, where do I sign?
Yeah,
like,
short-term deal. I don't
care. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, if you said the goal is to change the DNA, that's how you change it. Going and getting, I don't know, Jason Robertson because the Dallas Stars want to move off him doesn't change the DNA. No. It doesn't. No, it's just another skilled guy who's never won anything.
There is like a dream. I think they have the same kind of avatar that we have when it comes to the type of player that needs to come in here. I think you're going to see, I don't know who's going to be the big name or just small names, but there is a small list of attributes that I think Brad Treliving is going to be looking for, and I think he's going to be very aggressive in going out and get it because he finally has the space to do it, and that's what they need. And I honestly think he's going to make a couple signings where it's like, okay, we're going in the right direction here. I don't know if it's going to matter in the end, but I think they will have that mindset of like, we're not going to get another guy who can just wheel around and look for breakaways. We're going to go for a guy to muck it up.
The fastest game on ice just hit another gear. Welcome to the Stanley Cup Final, where legends are made and every shift could turn the tide. And now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can take every slap shot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level.
New to betting on the Stanley Cup Final? You're in for an exciting time. Getting started is a breeze. Fire up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team to win, lock in your wager, and you're off to the races. It's fast, simple, and puts you right in the middle of the action.
Here's the kicker. New customers who bet just $5 will score $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right. Turn $5 into a Stanley Cup Final payout.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
I want to pose a question to you right now about John Tavares' upcoming contract extension, because as much as I've campaigned for moving on from him, it's not happening. He'll be here. Do you think if they were going to go the route of the Chris Tanev deal, where you could get him at a lower cap hit, but you're signing him for longer term, and the idea is he's not, so if you sign him to like a 6-year deal, and the idea is he's not going to play till the end of that contract, but it'll help get the cap hit down, and you could get him in at under $4 million. Do you think that also impacts the DNA? And what I mean by that is, like, do you think that there's like a tonal shift in that room where it's like Matthews and Nylander, and I want to be clear, it's Matthews and Nylander. Mitch Marner is gone. He's out of my mind. Forget him. He's gone. Do you think that it changes things in there? It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, this guy who is a member of the quote unquote core four just took a monster haircut to stay here.
Yeah, I do. I would think it would have a ripple effect, 100%. And I've always been in the camp of, I think you should re-sign him. But at the same time, I'm not playing games here. Like, do I really need you? Like, no, I don't. But you're still a really productive dude. And I think in a certain role is great. Like, I think him on a third line role, getting his 60 points a year, scoring 25, 30 goals. I think that is very valuable. But I'm tapping him on the shoulder. I'm going, this is what we're offering. Take it or leave it. And I'm not negotiating, I'm not giving you more years. I'm not trying to help the cap hit. I don't give a shit. Take $3 million over the next 4 seasons, or go play somewhere else. Like that's what I would say. I think bringing him back at a low cap hit in a good role, I think it's really important to add someone who can kind of take his spot, but like maybe not take his spot because he's still a good player, but like they need to add somebody else into that forward group who is a bit of a presence. And I think that would also help it. But I think he's still a useful player. And I think if he was slotted correctly, which I think if you look at the whole league, $3 million is an underpayment for him. I get it. But in this situation, the guy has no leverage. Like, he wants to clearly stay here and be a Leaf. He's all settled in. So I'm playing hardball. I'm like, this is what you're getting, or you're leaving. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I hope you've probably gathered by now through the first 20 odd minutes of this episode that my entire focus around this hockey team this summer is DNA change. And I hope that if he takes like a massive haircut, listen, if they can get him under $4 million, that's a massive win for Brad Treliving.
Didn't Tampa try and sign Stamkos for around $4 million? And he said, take a hike.
And they also just did a deal with Yanni Gourde where they signed him to what's Yanni Gourde's new deal? But they signed him. It's what we're talking about. It's the Chris
$2.5 million.
Yeah. They signed him. It's the Chris Tanev situation.
Well, Tanev got a little bit more money, but see, I think I don't want him making like maybe 4, I guess, but like I think anything over 5, it's like, fuck off. Like, I know you're productive, but at that point, we might as well just go full bore DNA change and just move on. Like, you're going to lose a productive guy, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you leave, whatever, man, we're on to the next thing. We're on to the next era. Let's go with the DNA change. Or it's like I think the point you make of him signing for a low number is a DNA change. Like, I actually do think it is, the more I think about it. Because he's in a totally different role. Like, what he's provided for this team, I think he's needed to do more in the playoffs, but what he's provided has been like fantastic. But it's just always been, he just can't live up to the number.
Yeah. Yanni Gourde signed a 6-year contract extension with the Lightning. So it's a similar type thing. He's not going to play till the end of that deal. So that's kind of the way these things are going right now. So I'm just thinking, like, if you can make that work, it's another tonal shift in there. I'm at the point with this Leaf team where I watch these two teams in the Stanley Cup Final, and I see the way the entire team plays, and I see how bought in everyone is, and I see just the mentality. I honestly don't care what happens next season. I don't care. I don't care where they finish. I don't care. All I care about is, how are we changing? How are we getting out from under this mountain that we've buried ourselves under?
Dude, it's a mini blow up. I'm telling you.
Yes,
like, they could finish first in the division again and make the playoffs, whatever. But in terms, like, I agree. It's a massive year. It's absolutely massive, and it's just going to be small little things that you're going to want to see. And it's just like, yeah, we need to escape this era so badly.
If this team goes out next year and let's just say in the final weeks of the season misses the playoffs because they're in the wild card hunt, but they spent all year absolutely battling, I'll be totally fine with that. I honestly will be. That's where my head is at. I want to see fundamental DNA culture shift and change within this organization. That my number one priority for next season, bar none.
I just don't see them not being a playoff team again, though.
Well,
Like,
but I know. But my point is,
I know what you mean. But I mean, sometimes you think about it and you're like, where are they going to go? But then you look at their roster and it's like they still got two really good goaltenders, man. They got
good
the
decor.
The decor's still there. You minus a 100-point guy, but I don't care. Like, it's just, dude, the offseason. I think this is going to be the most interesting offseason maybe ever.
Lane Hudson wins the Calder Trophy. You said a lot through the season you'd love for the Leafs to have a defenseman like Lane Hudson.
I'd be totally cool with a small guy like that who, like, he's not a sieve defensively, but to sell out for some offense and actually have the ability to provide it. Like, see with some of the kids' highlights, like, gross. It's going to be so fun watching that kid play hockey for the next 15 years in Montreal. He's going to be dummying everybody.
Yep. That means that they need to look to trade Morgan Rielly, and he said he doesn't want to. And it's kind of an awkward situation because I guess I don't want to trade him for the sake of trading him, but if you can, all this is to say, just when a player says, I don't want to go, the thing that's gotten this team in trouble is acquiescing to contract demands, acquiescing to no move clauses, acquiescing to all this stuff. Brad Treliving, if Brad Treliving feels moving Morgan Rielly or anyone else for that matter with a no move clause, it will help send this team in the direction it needs to go in, he's got to do it. And you just have, and if it's got to be awkward, it's got to be awkward because, like, we can't just say, "Hey, Morgan, would you be okay if we explored a trade for you?" No. Okay. Bye. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Is that like a fact? Like, it's a.
Yeah, it's been reported that he has, I think it was Pierre LeBrun that said it first, that he and his camp are not interested in being moved anywhere. And
I think that's something that's going to play out over time. I mean, like right now, you're not there every day. You're in the off season. Like you have your whole life's here. So of course you're going to be like, nah, dude, like I prefer not to get moved. But I don't know if they're in the season, he's having a tough year and things aren't going well. And like, I don't know. I think that's just something that's going to play out over time. I don't think he'd be in the off season right now, finishing a grueling season being like, yes, please trade me. Like, of course he's going to say no. And like, yeah, that's his right. I totally agree with what you're saying though, where it's like, well, there's ways to work around that. There's ways to get around that if you really want to. We've seen it done before. So I think it's just something that's going to play out over time. It's tough to ask a guy to waive his no trade clause when he's on vacation with his family after a long season.
I just can't say this enough. Being too player friendly is what has gotten this team to where it is.
Yeah.
Billy Zito in Florida is a fucking savage. Julian Brisebois in Tampa is a fucking savage. Mm-hmm. Like, you say what you want about how it ended up working out in the end, but Colorado looked at Mikko Rantanen and said, "We're not paying you that." Yeah. Like it's at a certain point here. Like we can't just be player friendly all the time. It's like we're trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
that's a situation that's going to play out over a long period of time. I feel like
but like look at these two teams in the Cup final, man. Like anything to win, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Yeah.
And that is the mentality this organization needs to adopt, because it's like enough's enough with this. Like, well, you know, we want to protect these guys and he has a no move clause and that's his right. And blah, like, no.
That's why this offseason is going to be so fascinating. It's not just who they're going to acquire. It's who they're going to evaluate on their own roster where they're like, see you later. Like, thanks, but no thanks. We're going to try to move you out. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
For it. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
what Brad does.
Well, we've got a few more games left here in the Cup final. I still think, even though the Panthers are up 2-1, I still think this is going 6 or 7. Games 1 and 2 in Edmonton were the two best hockey games I have seen in years. Connor McDavid, on the goal that he set Draisaitl up for in game 2, Alex Barkov is not one of, he is the best defensive centerman in the National Hockey League. And Connor McDavid absolutely undressed him. Then he undressed Aaron Ekblad and feathered it right on the tape to Draisaitl. This is high end, elite skill, elite talent. It is two cultures that are completely bought into winning the ultimate prize. It is the best players leading the way. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
You can't count Edmonton out either. They're not the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were down 3-0 last year. And that was too big of a hole to climb out of. But if they were able to, we've watched this Florida Panther team play a lot of hockey. Coming back from 3-0 and almost winning that series is a minor miracle. So you can't count that team out. The goaltending always makes you nervous. So with that team, it's like the OT goal through the 5-hole. I don't know how that went in. Like how did that even go through his 5-hole? I have no idea. Yeah. And then he stunk, and then they stunk. Well, the whole team stunk in game 3, but when the Oilers, it's like when it's going good, it's going good. But when it's not going good, it's not going good.
Not going good. No,
it's not going good. The Florida Panthers don't have that. The Florida Panthers have, like, their bad is like average. Like it's like they don't have that level of like we're awful. You're never gonna get that from them ever. Yep. So that's why you can't have those nights against them or else you're screwed. But they really wiggle out of some situations though, like game 3 against the Leafs and then game 2 against Edmonton. Like those are completely different series if they don't come back.
They were up
and win
3-1.
Yeah.
They were up 3-1 in game 1 too. Like they were up 3-1 and Edmonton comes back and wins it. But this has been absolutely they drive you crazy, but holy shit, they're a team. And one thing, if you're an Oiler fan, that I would be very worried about is game 3 was the arrival of Sergei Bobrovsky in this series. And when he's decided it's time to shut her down, that's a scary, scary proposition for Oiler fans. So
the thing about the other night, too, that was funny was fucking Darnell Nurse and Gadjevic. Was that the longest fight in NHL history? Like those guys were literally punching each other for 2.5 minutes.
I know.
Like, is anybody going to break this up? That game got so stupid at the end.
Well, because the Oilers were it was over, and the Oilers were trying to send a message, but like it's very difficult to send a message against a team like Florida.
It's like they're physical at the right time, and then when the Oilers decide they want to be tough, and then they're just backing away laughing. Like they're like, I don't know, they just can't do anything wrong. Like they're always just doing the right thing at the right time, being physical at the right time, being bullies at the right time, but then throwing up their hands and going, I don't know, at the right time. Like they're masters. They're geniuses, man. Like they're one of the best hockey teams I've ever seen in my life. Like they are incredible. I can't say enough about them.
All right, buddy. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back again sometime within the next week. Maybe we will have a Stanley Cup champion by then. Maybe we won't. As always, if some sort of breaking Leaf news happens, we'll be on as soon as we can after to discuss it. And we are going to keep going until free agency. And then we're going to take the summer off. But again, always around in the event of some breaking Leaf news. So if you'd like to join us in the lead up to free agency, hit the like and subscribe button below. Tons of great engagement on our last video. I'm always kind of weary, like we're doing these summer episodes. Like, are people going to watch them? What do they think? But we got a bunch of beauties that stick with us, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys in a week.